What's up, guys? Today we're doing the time of Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 14.
I think that, yeah. They lied to us on when we tried to look it up the second time. Because it said 14, but it was actually 12. Anyway, Michael, you want to start off? What did we see this episode?
So this episode we got a fight with the Orc Lord. It's kind of a direct continuation of the last episode. We got Gelmude introduced. Obviously, he talked about someone that may be his leader or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we don't know who's exactly behind everything. But Lord Gelmude does fight, and also all of Remuru's totally forgot it. All of Remuru's followers fight the Orc Lord after he's evolved, mm-hmm. And they lose the fight. What was interesting, I was talking to Josh, it is slightly different in the book. So in this episode, we get to see the Orc Lord actually involved to an orc disaster by eating Gelmude. Jerk move on his part a little bit there. And then everyone goes to fight him. They get wrecked. Well, they can still do damage to him, but he has healing ability.
And they're running out of magic, or at least I think he said it to Rainbow. Yeah.
And then it's a one-on-one fight. Who can eat the fastest? And Rimuru wins. And then we get a sad backstory flashback of how Orc Lord's life kind of sucked, and he was a good king, but he got taken advantage of.
Yep. And then he was forced to eat like the pig he was.
Yep, Pigman. So the action in this episode, it was pretty great. You got to see Rimuru unveiled some new powers. You want to talk a little bit about the action scenes and then his powers?
Sure, yeah. So I don't think it's really one that new, but he kind of deflects incoming blasts with his slime ability. I guess that's supposed to be his predator, where he's just absorbing or deteriorizing it. But then, we also get to see a new function of Great Sage, which is an auto battle mode, which I think it seems not as powerful as just having it as a Jarvis, but it's okay. It's still cool that it has an offensive ability. As far as the fight itself, I think the like Michael was saying, the animation for the actual fight was really cool. It was really smooth. I liked, there was two things I really wanted to see out of this episode. I really wanted to see, Rimuru and Geld have an eating contest, which they did. So I was glad to see that. And then the other thing I wanted to see was the, power difference. I wanted them to display the power difference or really show why Rimuru is, their leader, and not only that, but strong enough to, get these other people strong enough. And I think they were able to do that pretty well. It sounds like in the book it's done maybe a little bit better, or maybe just done in a, I don't know, because it's still done pretty well. I don't want to downsize the show, because, you get to see that his followers go up against the Orc Lord, and I don't want to say they struggle, but they're not able to really cause any damage to him. And then I like how Rimuru comes in there, and even Great Sage isn't able to do much against the Orc Lord, but when Rimuru takes over himself and actually uses his powers, he's actually able to take him over, at least in the anime, very easily. Or I would say
fairly easily,
yeah. So, because he didn't, and the reason why I get that impression is because he didn't even use probably his strongest spell, which is the Tempest, right? The electricity thing, because he didn't even use that. He used the fire one from the whatever that guy's name was. I don't remember.
He doesn't matter. He's dead.
He's gone. But yeah, so I would say it was nice seeing his followers have some fighting, but mainly just to show how powerful Rimuru was, because we already got their kind of spotlight in the last episode. But I would say overall, it was good. I think it was worth the wait. We had to wait a week off, a little bit longer to see this one, and I was impressed. I liked it a lot. I think it's kind of like what I was thinking originally. I really thought it's really going to start picking up and really start showing what the show is, what it's all about. It's about a slime taken inch by inch of the world.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I really did like the episode. As we said earlier, there are some, I would say, fairly big changes from the book in regards to like the order of events, not necessarily what happens, but when it happens. Mm-hmm. And I understand because I think the tone of the show isn't as, I wouldn't say dark necessarily, but isn't as, like, they didn't explain things as much as they did in the book. Obviously, when you get to a show, there are things that you cut or, just simplify a little bit. And they did simplify this fight, but at the same time, the animations...
when you described it in the book, it sounds like they could have easily done that in the show. It maybe just sounds like maybe it just, wasn't good. They weren't going to be able to tell that in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could have been due to that, and they wanted, maybe they have however many episodes they're going to do, 25, 26, so they wanted to get to the next major arc, which I can respect since it is really good.
Yeah, because, I feel like if they would have dragged this on like another episode, it probably maybe would have, I don't want to say halted a bit, but so at the end of the day, not too upset about that. I was really surprised though that they show, as a anime only watcher, I was surprised to see that we got the background of Jeld and how he's not that bad of a guy. I don't think it really matters in terms of the story, but it does, well, at least right now, because I'm sure it'll explain like what he does with the orcs. But I think it's just nice seeing that, they actually had a good reason for doing this. It kind of is just like, oh, they're just evil, So I'm glad they didn't just write it off as that. And then, like, the other thing we saw, which I don't really know, I like, this is the part that probably could have gotten cut, because I think it's pretty obvious, but again, it's like, they probably have to show it because of, like, continuity reasons, but when Rimuru talking to all of the, what is their new race called? They're not ogres anymore, they're Majin? Whatever. Onai. Yeah. So, he's talking to them and he's saying that, our contract is up. You can go now because that's what I promised you. And then they're like, no, we're going to stay with you. I was like, I don't think we really need to see that because I think it's pretty obvious. But, for the story and continuity, like, I understand, like, they have to put it in there. It doesn't take that much time anyway, so it's not like a major...
I mean, it is kind of obvious that they're already attached to it quite a bit. And similar to the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy...
with the
muscle guy,
Drax.
Similar to Drax, they haven't really cut the person who's really behind it.
Yeah,
because Lord Gelmude was talking about how, like, you're gonna ruin my master's plan or whatever. So.
Yeah, like, basically, it's like one of those strats where it's like, do you want to go after the person that actually did it, or do you want to go after the guy that, like, ordered it? And which I'm sure, like, at this point, like, they might as well go for both.
Yeah, we'll see.
Since they're going to be with him. But what do you think about going into the next episode? Because obviously you know more, but
I think it'll be good to see how, like, all the forces of the forest come together and trying to figure out what they're going to do in the future, what's going to happen with the future of the orcs. How are the ogres going to respond to them, the orcs, like, destroying their entire race, if they're going to figure out a compromise, and then, like, moving forward, how if Rimuru will get stronger, or obviously because he absorbed someone who's really powerful, more powerful than anything he's absorbed in the past. So we'll have to see if that changes with him getting stronger, and how that affects the rest of his.
Do you think the next episode is going to be politic heavy, or do you think it's going to be a mixture of things?
I don't think there's going to be any fighting, but I think it is going to be like civilization building. So he's going to get back to building his town and stuff.
What is that book? That one part of Ori Ferreira where they're like doing the okay. If it's like that, I'll be interested to see how that goes, because obviously, like you said, the ogres are going to have some probably hesitation about aligning with the orcs or what to do with them, and then I'd imagine the lizardmen are now in the same boat because they had some losses there, and they were they invaded their home. But I don't know.
Home invasion.
I feel like all of the goblins, though, that the lizardmen had should go to Rimuru. Yeah. No question.
Rest in peace, those goblins, man.
Yeah. But, I guess that's basically it for this episode. Like I said, I'm just, I think this back half of this show is going to be where it really shines. I'm looking forward to seeing, all the little stuff that they do. I kind of hope they keep it to where it's, they keep the action going, but I don't mind episodes like probably next week's where we're going to, do some ground laying and then maybe get some comic relief, so...
Not enough Gobda in this episode.
Not enough Gobda. You did get to see his little victory pose at the end. I don't know if they cut it off on that version you watched, because I watched it in HD.
Yeah, I
You
don't
stuck
know.
with 30,
I probably
60p script.
But, you know, it was a great action episode. I think best animation is in regards to fighting, and we got to see Rimuru fight seriously-ish, so.
Yeah, it's doing good, so can't wait to see more. Which we should be back next week, because they're not delaying it again.
We'll be back soon enough.
Yep. Peace, Addicts.
That was a awkward ending.
Later.
Later.
Sorry,
Later,
I thought you were
Addicts.
trying to close.
Later.